So what's smart contract? Uh, Now we have two parties A and B, which usually get contract, and then we deserve third party. So and get execution. So usually we can consider difference between traditional contract and smart contract. On slide you can see that difference. So what like this, and it's short about what traditional contract different between smart contract. So and what decided to do. So our project use this function for regular users. Get a list of all registered organization, get a list of employers in a specific organization, get a list of all reviews of the organizations. Get a list of all reviews on employer of a specific organization, send feedback to the organization. For this you need a QR code from the organization, and send feedback to employer. For this you need a QR code for employer. Send a tip to organization with an optional review. For this you need a QR code from the organization. The transaction ID is displayed so that you can track the transfer was successful, and send a tip to an employer of the organization with an optional review. For this you need a QR code from the employer. The transaction ID is displayed so that you can track that the transfer was successful. And for organization, it's generating new QR code, send feedback or tips to the entire organization, add a new organization to the service with a list of employers, add an employer to an organization, delete an organization, and remove employer from organization. Something like this.
Okay. Now I'm going to tell you a little about our smart contract. We wrote the contract code using Solidity language and deployed it using Remix. We redeployed it in Renegbyte testnet network. So here you can see the transaction that created our smart contract. Let's click in the created contract and see. Here you can see the list of transactions in our smart contract. All these transactions were created during testing and some preparations to the demonstration. Now, let's look through the code of our contract. So, here we have a contract named tips service. Also, we created some additional data structures like these iterable maps. These structures are used to store some information in it, iterate through it, and delete some information from it. This contract stores information about all organizations and all their employees, and some additional information for validations. Okay, let's look through the functions of our smart contract. You can add an organization, add an employee to an organization. You can remove the organization from our smart contract, and also you can remove employee from an organization. For security reasons, only organization can add and remove employees from itself and remove itself from a contract. We check this before the action. Next, you can send some tips to a certain employee. You can send some tips to the whole organization with optional review. Also, you can send just reviews to an organization and to certain employee without any tips. All these actions have a special action ID that is checked before the action. It prevents repeating actions with the same ID. And finally, you can request the list of organization reviews and the list of reviews of a certain employee in the organization. You can also request the list of all registered organizations and in all employees in a certain organization. Let's try to call function getAllOrganizations using the remix. So, as you can see, all data stored in the contract is encrypted. So you can get the real names of organizations and employees only using our script.
So let's check if our blockchain tip service works. First of all, we need to create a new organization. Let's name it Kemerovo Fried Chicken. Let's add some wallet information and private key. So now we add this organization and manually add our employees. And employees wallet address. So we have this transaction. So we can check. So while it's the processing, let's check our list of organizations. Yes, we have our organization, and let's check employees of this organization. So we have our Ivan. Now we can generate QR code for our employee to receive tips. Now we generated this, so let's send some tips to our employee. One moment, so let's try again. So let's generate, no, let's send tips to our employee. We have our transaction ID, so we can check this. Yes, successfully passed. So now we can check if our employee received this. Yes, he received it. Now we can check our employee reviews. Yes, we got our review. So when we know that this is a bad guy, we can fire him. So to do this, we can go into organization mode. And we can remove our employee. We got our transaction, so now we can check if he really got removed. Yes, he got removed. So now when our organization doesn't have any employees left, so it vanishes too, and we remove our organization. Yes, we got transaction ID, and we can check if organization still exists. It still exists. Maybe, oh yes, it vanished. So we can see that our blockchain tips service works.